I almost want to do a thing where WNN, the Who News Network, okay? Because there have been multiple Who stories that have come up since we've talked.
Yes.
Multiple Who news items. So this might be all chopped up because I just might put this out as a separate video. Because I think me and you should do this. We're the only one tackling like the issues of the day that really need to be tackled, which is what are Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey saying and doing in this time.
Weird little universe, yeah.
Yeah, in the whole universe, which is not true because I'm not going to really cover anything that Roger's saying. He's doing his charity, and that's really cool. And I've gotten some mail, and I've made some donations to the Teenage Cancer Trust. So as soon as we got off like the line last time, this Beads on a String Yaggerdang remix came out.
Yep.
Okay. So did you listen to it?
Listen to it a lot, yeah.
And it is shorter, yeah?
A little shorter, I think, yep.
A bit more like, in Pete's words, electronic noodling.
Yeah.
Kind of like I can't think of anything else to do, so I'm going to sit here and do this.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what's going on. And they're releasing the acoustic shows on, they're re-releasing Who again.
Yeah.
Except one of these times it's going to be with that acoustic show. Someone's going to get fired if this record doesn't sell a number of copies.
Yes, that's 100% what's happening.
So, I mean, I'm excited to see the live shows. I've watched them on YouTube because they're all available the whole way on YouTube. Have you watched them?
I actually haven't. I didn't even think to look on YouTube for some reason or another. Like I'm fine. You know, I don't want to say purchasing it again, but I don't have it on vinyl, so it is what it is. I can buy a CD version of it.
At this time of the year, I've been programmed at this point by in-laws to put everything on a wish list.
Yep.
They're so happy with the wish list that Who is again on the wish list. So what do you think of Yaggerdang remix? I know you were talked over.
I mean, it's a great song to start off with, so, you know, could you make it worse or better? Maybe not. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I like the little flourishes of, you know, the electronic thing. So, yeah, it's a little more atmospheric kind of, you know, sound to it. I enjoy it. Again, it's just, you know, whatever you heard first is usually kind of the version you enjoy.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, like I've run Beads on a String into the ground. You know what I mean, as far as listening to that. So, yeah, it's just going to be hard to maybe change my mind on it, but it's solid. I enjoy it.
I did like it, but I didn't see it how it was memorable or like more memorable in any way than the one I know already.
Yep, exactly.
Even though I think he should start putting out other things under that title.
Oh, yeah.
But straight up electronic music of some kind. That's not even his. Anyway.
Yeah, you know he's into it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He's just to spew out material. Like, just go for it.
You know, you got stuff. I know you got, you know, put out a Bachman books, but, you know, the Yaggerdang remixes, I'm for it. Please, sir.
Yes.
All right. So let's say you're an arena 70s idol, rock star. You've been to the top, 100,000 seaters. Just by you yourself, your album goes crazy. As Mike Myers says, they issue it in the suburbs in the 80s. But you're on the downslope, and you get a call from Pete Townsend saying he's going to leave the Who, and you're going to be in the Who, and your name is Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
And you get a drunk call from Pete Townsend saying you're going to replace him in the Who.
Oh my God.
What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. I read that story of Frampton getting asked to take Pete's place on tour, and just like, holy shit. I mean, I don't know, like, I felt so bad for Frampton because he gets this phone call. Pete's like, hey, I'm going to go talk to the boys. I'm going to let them know that you're taking my place, and I'll call you back. And then like 3 weeks goes by, and Frampton doesn't hear shit. So he finally calls Townsend and is like, hey, what the hell's going on? And Pete's like, oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that, or some shit like that. And it's like, holy shit. Like, can you imagine just like sitting on that for 3 weeks? Freaking keel over.
I can't. Well, one, if you know Pete Townsend, you would probably know that he was having a drunken night if you really knew him.
Yeah.
Probably just a random drunken night. Pete should know not to mess with people like that. Um, and if you're Frampton, who feels like you're on a downslope, which, I have to take his word for it. He's been ever present since I was growing up,
Yeah.
As a person with, genuine talent, I like Peter Frampton.
Yes.
It's got to be miserable if you're in a low point to think that that's going to happen for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I just can't even imagine stepping into those shoes as a guitar player. Like, I don't know.
Not even as a guitar player, as like a figurehead even too.
But I mean, yeah, you're going to be judged to death there. And I look at somebody like John Mayer playing with Grateful Dead or, Dead and Co. Like, that guy had to really go in there quiet, pretend it's not happening, and earn the respect of the fans. I mean, I think he does a good job at it. And I enjoy John Mayer as a player. He's very talented, but there's no being Jerry Garcia, and there's no being, there's no Peter Frampton being Pete Townsend. It's just, this is not going to happen. So, is it another Kenny Jones situation where it's a little stale and a little too precise? Because Pete just, the guitar is an extension of his body. Like, if you're Peter Frampton thinking about how to play like Pete, like, not going to happen. And if you're playing like yourself, it's just not going to sound like The Who. Yeah.
And it's very specific that if you are going to like take the Grateful Dead example, John Mayer's place in that band, and I think John Mayer doesn't get a lot of credit. I'm not a big fan of John Mayer, but I can recognize his talent.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk more about that in the next news item, the last one. But his job is to sound like an analog Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
When you're in that band, that is what you're supposed to do. Even if you're, a better guitar player than Jerry Garcia to some people, send hate mail to him.
Yeah.
Which I think John Mayer can be, to change his style so completely, to take it down a little bit, just to do something completely different.
Yeah.
Chop off a singer, whatever he's got to do. Right? I think John Mayer does a good job at that. I don't know why we start talking about this. No one would have accepted that. Roger Daltrey wouldn't have accepted it. The fans wouldn't have accepted it. No one would have accepted it. I was thinking in my mind, it maybe would have fit, but then you threw out Neil Young, and I'm just like, okay, this conversation is starting to get from the sublime to the ridiculous. Let's stop it. It was just a very interesting news piece to hear Peter Frampton say.
Yeah. I know some of Frampton's stuff, but I wouldn't sit there and go, oh yeah, he's a good fit. Like, I can see Pete going, oh yeah, that guy could do what I do.
Well, I mean, it's a good fit like any Doctor Who is a skinny British white guy.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like, okay, cool, but at the end, I still have to listen to Do You Feel Like We Do when I'd rather hear Bob O'Reilly or whatever kind of thing is happening. Cool. Last bit. Okay. Eddie Van Halen passed away.
Yeah.
R.I.P. You know what I mean? I have nothing bad to say about Van Halen. They're not 100% my cup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, I have actually studied his Won't Get Fooled Again intro with the guitar because I don't have a synthesizer here or an organ here. So if I'm playing that song, I like to be able to do it on my fingers, and Eddie Van Halen did that great.
Yeah.
The news, I'm sure you saw it, comes out with Pete Townsend's condolences and says that when he suggested Eddie to take over the Beat It solo because it was offered to him, blah, blah, blah. Do you buy that?
Fuck no.
Okay.
I mean, maybe Pete and Michael Jackson were friends, and maybe they had a relationship that I wasn't aware of, where they, Michael could reach out to Pete and be like, hey, like, I'd love for you to play on this album. Pete's the last guy in the world I'm asking to take a solo on a song. Like, that's not my thought process. And I mean, when did Thriller come out? 82?
83 or 84, something like that.
somewhere between 82 and 85. And like, if I'm looking for a name, a marquee name to take a solo on my album, it's not Pete Townsend. It's definitely going to be the greatest guitarist on earth at the time. You know what I mean? Like
the greatest, hottest.
Yeah.
At that moment.
I mean, at that point, like, there's just nobody else that that has established, who they are. I mean, Van Halen 1 came out in 78. Like he had 5 years under his belt by the time Michael Jackson probably asked him.
But it fits perfectly with the time.
Yeah, no.
And I see, if anything, Quincy Jones asking his second or fourth secretary to make him a list of the 15 guitarists in the world.
Right.
Sending a missive to all of them, either asking them to be on it or their ideas for it.
Oh, yeah, I could see that for sure.
Because Michael Jackson was a hot property before Thriller, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't Michael Jackson quite yet. I mean, he was, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, there's pre-Thriller, Thriller, and post. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Different worlds.
Yeah. Okay. So come play this guitar for off the wall, Michael Jackson. I don't know if Pete is doing that elder statesman of rock selective remembering, or he remembers getting a missive about it, but I don't buy it, Pete.
I don't. I mean, I hope. I mean, it's crazy if it's true, and I would have. I'd love to hear what Pete would have done, but yeah, I mean, there's who's gonna call him out? Eddie's dead, and Michael Jackson's dead, so.
And who wants to call him out? Really, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah. Grandpa said he was in the Beatles again.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's not going to be a paper trail. You know what I mean? Like there's no evidence. Like he can say he got a phone call and no one can ever say they didn't. You know what I mean? It's just like,
So that was cool. That's the that's the WNN. That's the Who News Network. If there's more of those, we'll do them in the future.
Extra, read all about it. Extra.